Welcome back to the Enemies of the Fire podcast. This week we have reached that wall where people have stopped caring about Major League Soccer already. And so you've got a nice potpourri of an episode for you this week. So without further ado, I am FC Neo Tokyo. That is Jaymes. And what considering that like I said, MLS is everyone's so over it already. What do you got for us this week?
It's so funny you said that. I totally agree with you. It's like I heard that someone said that in a recent podcast, and they were like, "It feels like MLS, like it doesn't even matter. Like after the first few weeks, it's like the buzz is already gone. And when will it pick back up? During summer or
that's when it always picks back
or
up.
Fall or well, the numbers don't back that up. Interestingly." Apparently, the attendance numbers in summer are abysmal and woeful for a lot of clubs. At least that's what I was being told in this podcast. I think it was an Eric Winalda podcast, so that might have something to do with it. However, all the same, it was an interesting little thing. But speaking of interesting little things, how about this? You got superstar Anne Hathaway.
London forever, whatever the weather, these streets are our home. The group chat's going off.
North London forever after a 3-0 dismantling of Real Madrid. And of course, why are we showing you this? Well, because of this. And you know, have to be careful of how much we show you here. But what do we got here? We got Senor
the Champions League's not litigious.
Senor Declan Rice blasting off a boot. Oh wait, you guys can't see it. He's blasting off a boot. Oh, you can't see it. All right.
I can see it just fine. Describe it to me, baby.
All right, boom. So yeah, it's flying through the air at this point, and it's just going to a point on the goal that is very hard for the goaltender to get to. So like you see, one moment the ball is here, and the next it's just floating right there.
The angle is pretty, I should say the curve is unreal.
Hanging
he
right
hit that
there.
Ball perfectly.
And
I mean, Declan Rice, we've actually talked Declan Rice before on the podcast about the Fire, but
he smokes it,
dude. He just, as soon as like I feel like he's overrated, all of a sudden he'll do something like this.
All right, same,
and it irritates me because Anne Hathaway aside, the Arsenal fan base is a little insufferable.
Dude, same freaking game. He does it a fucking again. How all right, let's see.
It's literally the same spot on the other side of the center circle.
All right,
it's literally the same spot.
Other side. In the air, nice little curve to it. Oh, and then it's in upper 90s right there.
Basically the same spot.
Oh, players in the way. Saliba?
He's like, who's this guy? No, I mean, I don't know, dude. Is Courtois or what's his name? Courtois. Is he getting over it? But I mean, Real Madrid's kind of working it in Spain, right? So, I mean, I don't know, man. Declan, like Arsenal is a really good team, as much as it pains me to say that. And it just like they're just always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
They are.
It's nice.
Eternally.
It's nice to see them stick it to Real Madrid like that, especially like, I mean, I played AYOS soccer and scored 2 goals in a game a handful of times at most, let alone a man score. You know, like I felt like the man. Could you imagine on the world's biggest stage against the world's most winningest team in this tournament to hit those 2 free kicks? Like you're just on an unreal level. I don't know. It's partially why I love soccer is the just like, you know, as much as like to win a championship, you have to be perfect throughout the whole year. But sometimes you can live off of moments like that for years when your team does something magical like that. And when somebody can perform just lights out of nowhere. It just, I don't know, because it's such a team game.
Wait, it's not out of nowhere. Like you said, Declan Rice is capable of these moments. But
Yeah,
when they pop up like this, like that, it's sensational.
God, who even is on PSG anymore?
Well,
Draxler? I don't even know who's on PSG.
Well, who
these
you
days.
picking? PSG versus Aston Villa, just off name. Yeah, whatever.
I mean, how's the Villains doing in the Premiership? Are they in the top 10?
I think they're doing really good.
I mean, they're not the powerhouse that is Nottingham Forest.
Betting favorites are PSG.
PSG. Oh, they're already up 3-1 on aggregate. Yeah. So I mean, it's PSG's to lose. Yeah. I mean, I would have said that anyway had we come in clean 0-0, right? It's just Aston Villa is not a rich enough club with enough depth to play well in the Premiership and something like the Champions League.
It is at Villa Park.
As they're in the quarterfinals, and I should be eating my words already. Oh, I did not know that happened. What? Did you see that score? Barcelona against Dortmund?
4-0. So that is, I predict that's going to go Barcelona's way.
No. Oh, wait, Dortmund all the way, baby.
Reyna. Did we predict PSG and Aston Villa? I think Aston Villa could upset. I think they really could. I wouldn't be surprised.
They could overcome a 3-1 deficit, though. I mean, like, the game itself, I'll give you. They could win 2-0. They could win 1-0. But can they overcome that deficit?
Let me see what the lineup was. Donnarumma, Beraldo, Pacho, Vitinha,
Dembele.
Ruiz.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Dembele, Rashford, Rodgers, McGinn, Ramsey, Tielemans.
Oh my God, I forgot Kamara, Marcus Rashford went there.
Lucas Digne, Cash. Like this team can hang.
I think it's Din or whatever. I'm not 100% sure. That's that cat that played at Everton forever, right? Or am I dumb?
Lucas Digne, I think.
Oh my God, Jaymes still at PSG. Okay.
So I think that like they got a decent team, but PSG probably edges them out. Barcelona should handily beat Dortmund, even though it's going to be at Dortmund's home place.
You don't believe in the Reyna Quattro?
No.
He's not going to come in there and drop 5?
I mean, not when you're reading tweets like this.
Read it for the people.
Reyna just jogging while Barca players run past him. Laughing my ass off. I don't think that he'll ever be the player we thought he would be. That's from MLS Transfers, and it brings up a good point. Like, he might not be who we think he is. No wonder he's getting left on the bench. But
that was DPG's take, which, by the way, we didn't even mention. We are sans DPG this evening. Oh, I feel terrible.
Oh, my gosh. Shout out to DPG if you made it this far.
Shout out to DPG if you made it. Yes. But that was his take. It was kind of like Reyna's got to show us something. And I agree. Like, yes, the whole way Greg did it, and I thought Greg should have been fired no matter what, right? It was time to move on, and they didn't anyway. But anywho, what he said was true. Like, he gave Reyna a chance to talk man-to-man to say, hey, you haven't been bringing it. I'm not going to play you. And then what happened when he actually got into a game? He played poorly. You know, the one everybody was screaming for him. He came into that game against Netherlands, and yes, we were at a deficit. I'm not going to lie. But he didn't play very well. It's just Reyna needs to go get minutes. Where do you think he can get minutes?
Not the Chicago Fire. That's for sure.
I think he could get the minutes at the Chicago Fire, but you don't want it?
No.
You're crazy.
Oh, I would love it for Chicago Fire, but I don't know if Greg wants it.
Well, hold on. Since we're kind of doing a different format this week, so we're gonna sprinkle in the Chicago Fire talk. Thomas Mueller or Reyna? Who do you want?
Oh, Reyna will last longer here, and we'll be able to flip him for a profit if he's a success. If he's a terrible failure, it'll be. I don't think he will be. I think he'll be okay for MLS. Sorry, I think he would. Stupid shit happen here.
I think it's like Mark Grace talked about the slump buster. I think if Reyna came to MLS, he'd get his groove back.
Yeah, because it's an easier league, less pressure. There's no promotion relegation. It's a league where things don't matter, and maybe that's what he needs. He needs things not to matter as much.
Well, before he comes to MLS, I'd like to see him try the Netherlands or or even Portugal, somewhere where his talents would be appreciated. Saturday B.
Saturday. So the next game was Inter versus Bayern, and it looks like that Inter is up 2-1 on Bayern, and Bayern is being on the cusp of being eliminated. Mr. Harry Kane might have that Champions League trophy elude him.
I mean, Inter till I die, baby. I mean, I'm sorry. I know I root against. Oh my God. Mkhitaryan or however you want to pronounce it is still playing.
Yeah, Mkhitaryan.
Oh my goodness. Oh my God. Oh my God, Pavard.
Bastoni. Didn't he score?
Oh my God.
Didn't Pavard score a great goal in the World Cup once?
Yeah, when they won it back in 2014 in 2018.
Yeah.
He hit this phenomenal volley. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, so I think Bayern, let's see, if they're at home, Bayern is a very good chance. Oh, it's at the San Siro.
Where is it? No, it's at the San Siro. San Siro.
It might be over, but the Italians could fumble it.
I don't want, you know what? That's the problem. You're absolutely right.
Even betting odds are like they could fumble it.
Bayern,
38% to Bayern, 36 to Inter, even though they're away.
Like, I legit think you're correct. I think this is Bayern will win this, but like my heart, I want Inter to hold on. But yeah, Bayern, this is very winnable for them. I mean, they're, as much crap as I talk about Harry Kane, he is a phenomenal player. I mean, they've got a pretty stacked team. Sane is playing, Kimmich is playing.
Who the hell's Kim?
I actually don't know who that is. Oh my God, Gretzky made it on the field. I wouldn't be surprised if Bayern put out a stronger lineup and made it happen. I don't know. Where's he from? I'm
South
I don't
Korea.
want to make a. I was just about to say I didn't.
I didn't want
to have to guess.
I didn't think you were making that joke. Where is he from?
Well, no, I mean,
He's
I was
from
just
Napoli.
like,
he played well at Napoli. He played decent at Fenerbahce. Did well enough to get brought to Bayern Munich.
Oh my God, he must be, dude. He started out in the K League, went to China, so he probably made some bank, and then now he's, dude. This guy is 28 years old. He's in his prime. God, they find him everywhere, don't they?
They do.
Bayern
they're an international squad.
Yeah, they buy him up from everywhere like that. Like you said, he was at Fenerbahce. Where did he go? Or in Napoli? Like, I mean, that's. Oh, he would have been on that. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Never mind. Just never mind.
All right.
Who do you think? We got Bayern, right?
I think we got Bayern there.
All right.
So we got PSG, Barca, Bayern, and Real Madrid, Arsenal. Arsenal's already up 3-0, but they also are the ever bunglers.
Well, they're going to Real Madrid, right?
Yeah, it's at the Santiago Bernabéu. I think that Arsenal's in trouble here. It could.
Wait, is it Bernabéu or Bernabéu?
Sure, Bernabéu. That's better.
Okay, I know. I've heard. I speak English and I do that poorly.
I don't know. It's one of those two. Right now, look, they got Real Madrid predicted to win the game, but that might mean that they win the war.
No, they'd have to win by 3 goals, right? Or they'd at least have to tie on the, I guess away goals would kick in. Never mind. Yeah, so they've got to win. They've got to win by 4.
They lost Camavinga too, so that's gonna hurt them in the midfield.
Modric is still playing.
Oh,
well, wait.
This team, holy shit, Taki mushrooms. This is insane.
I mean,
somebody went crazy with FIFA money. You got Vinicius Jr., Kylian Mbappe, Rodrigo, Modric, Camavinga, Jude Bellingham, Alaba, Rudiger, Asensio, Valverde, Courtois. Like, this is insane.
Yeah, do yourself a favor. Scroll down. Check out that bench, too.
Vasquez, Garcia, Brahim Diaz. Let's see.
Oh, man.
I'm not recognizing injuries.
Yeah, they might have some injuries, but I mean, it's Real Madrid. And I know Real Madrid does Real Madrid things. I know it happens all the time.
You remember Arda Turan? I was like, Arda. I saw Arda Güler. You remember that guy?
but I know they do Real Madrid things all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But Arsenal's got this in the bag.
Yeah.
This Arsenal's
that'd be awesome.
got
You know, maybe it's Arsenal's, especially because they fumbled the Premier League. And so, I mean, they didn't really fumble. They didn't exactly even give it away. It was.
Well, they fumbled it last year, but
they fumbled it last year, and maybe this is some reckoning for them. And out of these teams, maybe they're playing the best football right now, and that's what they need to do.
I mean, I guess Madrid. I don't. I haven't been paying close enough attention to make an informed comment. But I will ask you this one quick question before we move on,
All right.
James. How did you find this year's Champions League? Did you care about it more or less based on the new format, or did your care in the Champions League have no bearing on the new format?
Let's put it this way. I watched more minutes of USL soccer than I have Champions League football this year. Let's move on. And speaking of strange occurrences.
Oh my God, strange.
Kevin De Bruyne to enter Miami. How crazy. If there's no way, how would it be possible?
So we've gotten somewhere important here, James. This is where my faith is tested. This is God's hardest trial or whatever. This is it. Because I fully believe the salary cap should be done away with.
Mm-hmm.
And all these dumb rules, if you can get around it, get around it. But Miami has already kind of gotten around it for 4 other guys. Like, on top of the 4 we know about, like, you got to think there's other guys. They've, like, just to see Kevin De Bruyne go to Miami would kind of kill my soul. I don't know. Not that I want him on the fire. It's just, that's too much firepower, man.
That would be insane. Are they losing somebody? Is Busquets retiring? Like, how?
No, I think they're gonna do the thing where it's like, oh, actually, he doesn't cost that much. He's like basically a TAM player.
Oh, it's like Zlatan Ibrahimovic
season.
was a TAM player. Like, no fucking way.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is like, you got to think they fined Miami back in the day when they had bullshit DPs, like when Tweedy was on the team getting paid under the table.
Right.
But like, before that, they made the LA Galaxy, who was trying to build a real team, they made them have to choose between Giovanni Dos Santos and Zlatan.
They made him sell.
And it was terrible. Like, I wanted to see Gio on the team, Gio and Jonathan Dos Santos with
they ruined
Ibrahimovic. And yeah, it was terrible. And so like, I do like that Miami gets away with stuff. This is a lot. This would be really getting away with something.
Do you think that Columbus Crew got away with something when they traded for Daniel Gazdag for the Philadelphia Union?
Are you asking me? Because I said this to shout out to Konor No Soccer. I said this earlier in the day to him when I was talking about how I didn't feel like there was a ton of soccer news this week. I said, before you even start, I don't want to hear about no bullshit about Gazdag. This reasonable move that will help both team and player, I don't want to hear about it. Like, this is a very reasonable signing that will help both the team and it'll help Gazdag get back to like playing even better. Because I don't think he's been playing poorly, but I don't think he's been to his normal level. I don't know. How do you feel about it? I saw you were talking to Konor as well.
I don't know if it's the team around him that's failing or if it's him, but like I didn't expect him in his 28th year, especially after showing such incredible skill in his years and his few years here in MLS, like that he would all of a sudden just dip into nowheresville. It doesn't make sense. Something else is going on. So it's either he needs a new destination, he needs a new place, there's some sort of injury that he has yet to recover from, or trouble at home. I don't know. It's there's some sort of something going on with Gazdag, but maybe a new destination gets the best out of him, because it sounds like that's what he needed, and sure enough, there it is. It happened. So his deal was up this year for 2026. These things tend to happen in contract years, and then you think about the way the Crew, who sometimes aggressively acquire good MLS talent, like parts of their team, like your favorite player, Darlington, the darling over there.
No, Darlington Nagbe is just he is the quintessential, he wasn't here in 98, right? But I think in like 50 years, when people look back and they say, what was the league like? Darlington Nagbe will encompass all of it. But anyway, no, James, I agree. I think Gazdag's going to do well in Columbus. And the question is, with Philly, did they do this because they've got a kid they believe in the system because they're like that? Or, which I kind of came into this season thinking they weren't going to compete, and then they won 4 straight games, right? So do they feel like they didn't expect to compete? They're playing with house money. They're trying to like rebuild the team. So why not move Gazdag when somebody like Columbus, who smartly sees a hole in their roster, tries to fill it?
You're moving a in his prime player, the best player on your team, arguably, in his prime, 28th year. This sounds similar to what the Dallas Mavericks did with Luca Doncic. Trading
Not
him.
quite.
They traded it. He's young. He's 26. They traded him for old as mold. What's his face? Baron.
Is it Baron Davis
No.
or Anthony Davis?
Anthony Davis, AD. Thank you. For Anthony Davis, who is quite a bit older in terms of his NBA years, too. I think he's 32, 34, somewhere in that range. But in his star prime, Luca Doncic, top 5 offensive player in the NBA. Like, is Danzag that? No. But is he a top 10 cam in the league on his day? I think so. Probably, right?
Well, I'm going to be 1,000% honest with you. I cannot remember Philly's lineup right now. I have a pretty strong feeling they've got an outside back who's really good. But yes, Gazdag is arguably their best player.
He's got to be.
Arguably. Because unless I'm crazy, they got somebody on the back line, whether it's outside or inside, that's pretty darn good, or at least is playing lights out. And I can just, for the life of me, cannot remember who it is. I love you're on the case. Oh, Gleasons or Glessons or whatever his name is. The center, yeah. He's usually lights out. And then Baribo, after
Baribo's been going crazy.
Well, he hasn't scored in like 3 weeks. Remember, we were like 3 games in, and he had 6 goals. He still has 6 goals.
Wow! Oh wow! So his domination has trailed off. Yeah, they needed some sort of change up. Something wasn't working with Gazdag and the rest of the team. I mean, like, that's why you do that drastic change. Like, I don't know how you couldn't be able to come up with the funds to keep the guy, keep the heart of your team, in my opinion. But, they, of course, know better than we do.
Wait, this isn't a move to get Calvin Sullivan on the field more, is it?
It could be. It very well could be.
I mean, he's a child.
But he's a kid, right? Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay, you know what? That makes a little... Shout out to Konor. Oh, man. Oh, my God. So, James, I want you to go into that. I want everybody... So, should we take a break and come back with that?
Yeah, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back with some of the good from this week.
I just lost my voice. This is probably one of the craziest games I've been to. Wow. You know what? Forget everything I said.
Welcome back, fellow enemies of the fire. We are here again. I told you, this is a special episode, so we got some weird stuff for you. So, again, James, what do you have for the people right now?
My
special treat?
My good for this week is hockey having its best year ever. I mean, it's having an absolute resurgence in being talked about on the X timelines, in the media. All sorts of things just keep coming up where these special moments with hockey. And I, as a hockey fan, love it, but I'm also noticing it. And it's definitely something's going on, and something big happened this week where Wayne Gretzky is now 1 goal away from tying Alexander Ovechkin's goal record. Yes, that's right. He did it. Alex Ovechkin, the greatest goal scorer in NHL history. I mean, by the way, the great one still dwarfs him in points. Like it's like 1,000 by 1,000. It's like not even close.
Oh, why? Because the assists?
Because of the assists, but it's not even close. But in goals, he has exceeded the great one, Alex Ovechkin, the great 8, greatness, as you see here. Gets nice little pass over from across the crease. Bam! And just bangs home number.
Oh, it's not. It wasn't even a tap in. He put it in with authority.
Oh, with authority. And he even the coach was going to send him out the night before against the Blackhawks to get an empty netter because he scored 2 goals against the Blackhawks the night or 2 nights before in front. And the entire time, by the way, Wayne Gretzky has been there. He's been there.
He's been on the tour like the 72 Dolphins.
He's been at every Ovechkin game the past few weeks, watching as he's going to break his record. And there's a special reason he did that. It's because his Gordie Howe, whose record he broke, did something similar. Was very graceful with Wayne breaking his record. In fact, Gordie Howe's wife gave Wayne's wife a present. Wayne's wife gave Ovechkin's wife, Nastya, a present. And it was kind of like a hockey tradition continuing. It was very awesome, very cool to see. In fact, they stopped.
Was it the Brimstone Cup?
Dude, they stopped the game in the middle of the second period. There's 12 minutes on the clock. They stopped the game for 25 minutes plus, and they had a celebration. They had a ceremony for this. It was stupendous. I loved it.
That's a little weird.
Stop
the game for like 5 minutes. I feel you. Do your celebration after the game.
At least. It was awesome. It was special. He gave a speech. Gary Bettman was there. He got appropriately booed, and then some cheers because it's a running joke in the NHL that you love to boo Gary Bettman, even though we all kind of really like Gary Bettman because he's the commissioner.
That's
a running gag there. But yes,
I gotta say this.
And in the same amount of games.
Yeah, that's the cool part, right? That is the super cool part, that it happened in the exact amount of games. But I gotta tell you, A, you called it X, which was funny. And then B, I feel like you had to tell me this happened. Like, I have heard of Alex Ovechkin, right? I have. I mean, part of that is, I think, the cultural awareness of the Blackhawks in the 2010s.
That'll do it.
You know what I mean? Like, at least the local cultural awareness. Like, I heard about Connor Bedard, and I haven't heard a thing about hockey since. I feel like MLS and hockey live in these worlds. We don't hear anything about each other. And, like,
they're in their own bubbles in a way.
It's wild. It's kind of like the same thing. Like, there's just so much to watch and to do nowadays. It's hard to stay. Like, I remember being younger and just watching Sports Center every night and like staying up on everything. And now I can't. I stay up on MLS.
Man, do you remember that Sports Center, Cartoon Network? Like, oh man, some of that late night stuff back in the day. MTV After Dark.
Oh, I remember that stuff. Oh my God. I used to love the Adult Swim. Now, hold on. Go back to Ovechkin stats. I love that. They broke it down with who he scored against.
17 against the Blackhawks.
Which, to be fair, wait, isn't Utah like brand new?
Yes, they are. Well, they used to be
like...
Phoenix. So they have the Coyotes. The Coyotes are right there. But so Coyotes became Utah.
Oh, the Phoenix Coyotes don't exist anymore?
Correct.
Didn't the Nordiques go down to become the Coyotes?
No,
and now the Nordiques...
You close. Quebec Nordiques became Colorado Avalanche.
Okay.
And then Hartford Whalers became the Carolina Hurricanes.
Ew. Bring back Hartford.
I loved Hartford. Great.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I derailed it. I just...
Yeah, but so this brings up... So it wasn't just this, but it makes me think of the Four Nations tournament that I was talking about in an earlier podcast. And it was just like, hockey's having a great little...
resurgence.
Resurgence here where people are paying attention to it. MLS needs that moment. And guess what? Messi's arrival did it a little bit, but ever since then, it's been a little bit stagnant. Something needs to go.
Well, they're not capitalizing on the World Cup. That's the problem. They should have been hyping this World Cup.
Do you think so?
They should have been, for like the last 4 years, they should have been hyping like America's League. Watch the World Cup here in America.
Right.
America. They should have been doing that for like 9 years already, but like at least the last 4.
At least since we've gotten it awarded, right?
Because not even that, but just in the last 4, because dude, the quality of Major League Soccer has improved so much. And so like, I guess I got a question for you about hockey. Cause I'll say this, I feel like I'm in my 40s, right? So I feel like basketball is probably the best it's ever been, because not only is everybody huge, but they're all athletic and every one of them can hit a shot, right? From anywhere. So is hockey, and so MLS is a billion times better than it was in 2005, right?
Yes.
Quality wise.
It's better than it was in 98, better than 90. Yes.
But what is hockey like? Is hockey better now than it ever has been or not?
So hockey's faster than it's ever been.
Okay.
Hockey's faster than it's ever been. Hockey only kind of gets faster, but they're going to hit a point where it's like, how much faster can you get? And they've had to do a lot for addressing certain kinds of hits where they had to really kind of change certain styles and referee them out of the game, where, these guys were getting checked into oblivion when their backs were against the walls, and then boom, like it's like, it's just destroying them. So with the speed and the pace of play of NHL, especially, and in the younger game, it is so fast it would blow your mind. TPG talked about it. He's like, he was having a hard time watching that puck. It is a skill to find that puck. I really wish they'd bring glow puck back, because that was awesome.
I remember everybody hated it, and I was just kind of, it was, the technology just wasn't there yet. I mean, now it'd probably be on. It's got to be there,
but the HD TV is like, I can see it pretty damn well. I'm watching really up close. I can see it all. And so the hockey is just having this nice little renaissance. I'm hoping that happens to MLS, but right now it doesn't seem like that. I'm a little concerned for MLS, actually. I'm at this place where I'm wondering if MLS has peaked. If MLS peaked in 2018, 2019, when the Gerards and the Pirlos and the Schweinsteigers were here. I mean, yes, the results weren't great, but I'm wondering if that's when the MLS peaked, because right now there is literally better soccer today in MLS. Yes, better soccer 100. than 2018. Than any year of its entire existence. I think this year, 2025, is literally the best iteration of MLS soccer you have ever fucking seen. And I would
100% agree with you on that part of it.
And here's the problem: it's not good enough. It's not good enough. And the pressures aren't there. The games don't fucking matter. The buzz is already dead. You said it at the beginning of this podcast. The buzz on the season is already dead. How has that happened? That doesn't happen in the Premier League. The buzz just gets more and more and more and more. It ramps up and ramps up. In MLS, though, it's dead until the playoffs. It's dead.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. I listen. Mm-hmm. I guess I come at this for a slightly different viewpoint. I was there for when MLS needed to claw for every inch, right? And so, again, I want the salary cap gone. I think that won't instantly fix everything, but that would eventually fix everything. But I'll say this. You have to extend this line graph out further. This is just a slight plateau, because I'll say this. It's like, think about a band comes out with like a first record that kind of hits. It's early in the genre. Maybe it's recorded and kind of sounds like shit, but it sold pretty well. They do some big shows. Then they're all like kind of, the second album doesn't do as well, and they're kind of playing club shows. And then they put out the third album that the mainstream doesn't even care about or nothing. But then they got this like group of fans, so they can can fill the 2,500 person venue, right? So right now, I think MLS is just worried about keeping us sickos around. Like the Apple deal, I'm still on record saying I don't think anybody gives a shit if they make a penny. I don't think this is about that. I
Dude,
think MLS.
How much did you pay for your Apple? You paid $0?
Well, I'm a season ticket holder.
Oh, that's great. I paid $99, the going fee. If I had not paid and I'd waited 4 weeks, I could have gotten it for a $5 bet. $5 bet on DraftKings. That's how much this thing has sank. They're giving it away for free. And you know how many people signed up after that $5 bet? Not that many.
I mean, who knows? Like, you say that
the turnover numbers for MLS, if it was good, they'd be bragging. The deal might collapse before it's over. The deal's not good for MLS. Each team is getting not enough money, and they have to put money in it to the production. It's not a good deal for MLS.
Hold on,
it's not a good deal for Apple. It might be best for this deal to dissolve and for them to broker a deal and get onto over-the-air TV as soon as possible. Maybe ESPN. I think has an opening.
I think it's smart. I think it's smart to let the clubs do local deals over the air.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is smart. But I'll say this. You're missing the bigger picture with this. I don't think anybody over there is... Yeah, you are correct. If the numbers were gangbusters, we'd hear about them. But I don't think that's the main point. I think the point of the matter is when MLS is already as a digital product, and in a couple of years when every other league in the world does it or whatever... You can go to you'll eventually be like, okay, I'll bundle the MLB plan with the MLS plan, or, give me MLS and Premier League in Germany, and I think they're trying to be on the bleeding edge of that.
And they're paying the price.
Well, they are, but they're not though. They're using the Apple money. So they are keeping peanuts of money. But again, I don't think money's the point. I think Apple desperately wants to prove to everyone.
Then what's the point? It's not about Apple, though, Toke. It's not about Apple. It's about MLS.
No, it is.
Fuck Apple. The deal. It's about MLS and U.S. soccer, and Apple is getting fucked, and MLS soccer is getting fucked. Like, no, they're not helping each other.
They're not getting fucked. They don't care about the money side of things. What they're getting out of it is Apple now has years of experience without any interruption. Right? They didn't just do it for a year and then stop. So now they have proof of concept to sell to every other sporting league in the world, from Frisbee golf all the way to MLB, all the way to Premier League.
And when do they drop MLS? Like a bad habit.
They don't. Why drop MLS? It's just now like the minor dollars, whereas the other ones are the bigger dollars.
So sunk cost, right?
Shit, the Premier League subsidizes the MLS broadcasting. You feel me? Like, that's how this is going to work. MLS wants to be on the bleeding edge, so they're a part of those packages going forward. And Apple wants to prove to every sport team and league on the planet that they can broadcast.
I agree with your assessment. I absolutely agree with your assessment. And the desired outcome. I disagree with the outputs. It's not going to happen. MLS is sinking, and if they're going to show this as a success, it hasn't been a success. They've been losing subscribers to the point where they have to give it away for free, practically for free. Like the year before, they were giving it away to T-Mobile customers. The year before, the year after,
no, they did that. Yeah, they did that 2 years ago, and then they did that again this year.
Yeah, and they did it again. It's because the numbers are, and they never talk about the numbers. They never talk about the number. If they were having good numbers, if they had anything good, it would be reported. It is not. Well,
hold on though.
The economic status of MLS is in peril.
Hold on.
And here's the big thing.
I gotta ask you a question.
USL knows, and they are sitting there ripe for the picking up the rebound. That MLS cannot seem to bury the layup.
USL does not listen. This isn't just an MLS problem. This is the sport of soccer in America. I get that everybody says there's all these soccer fans, but how easy would it be for you to change from the Chicago Fire to somebody in just America?
Not hard.
Like, how hard is it for you if you watch Manchester United for 20 years?
It would be hard.
You're going to change to the Chicago Fire? No, like it's
hard even now, it is. Where I am actually, Toke, I am like ready to jump onto USL team, and it's hard. Like I'm here. In fact, you know what? I saw my first USL game this season over the air. It was on CBS over-the-air broadcast. I was flipping through the TV after right around the Ovechkin game, because I was abreast of that. I saw the game before, and I was like, oh, I love hockey. It was something I love to watch with my dad. I played it, so I was keeping abreast of that game, and I saw that, oh, there's a USL soccer game. I'll click it, see what's going on here. And it was fun. I believe it was San Antonio taking on Tulsa or something like that. But
you could watch USL every week on Paramount Plus.
I'm not gonna pay for it. That's the thing. Just like it's the same
like
problem.
Plus.
Same problem with MLS. I'm not gonna pay for it, except I pay for MLS.
Oh my god, dude! All the Star Trek. Anyway, I'm sorry.
But even though I do pay for MLS, but I pay for MLS because I have a podcast with you guys. I don't know if I didn't have this podcast if I'd be paying for MLS this season.
I would be, but I'm different. That's just.
And here's the thing. You're right, but also this year, the most exciting time to be a Chicago Fire fan in the last 10 years. It literally is.
Yes, it is.
It is. This year is the most exciting time to be a Chicago Fire fan in the last 10 years. More exciting than Bastian Schweinsteiger times because, gosh damn it, we actually might be able to win. We don't have Paunovic here.
You see a future with this team.
You see a future.
Schweinsteiger team was like duct tape and bandages.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Me and my brother used to talk about it on our old show. And it was like a carriage or a car built with like a carriage wheel and some connects, a little bit of Legos, and some blocks. It was just like, and then you got a stick to like, and some tape. Not just duct tape. There is one piece of duct tape, but along with the duct tape, there's like Scotch tape, painter's tape. It's all sorts of. There's glue.
It was whatever.
It's bubble gum instead of glue because there is no glue.
Okay, I have one last question for you, and then we can move on.
All right.
Now, I get that the DraftKings thing where you could bet $5 and get it. I get that T-Mobile gave it away. But is that MLS asking them to do that? Or did they say, we'll cut you this like a lump sum check, and then you give us as many licenses as we need?
Okay. Toke, it's 100%. That is 100% MLS approaching DraftKings because they had a need. And here's the thing, they have a relationship with DraftKings. DraftKings has a relationship with a lot of these leagues, and they have a vested relationship that they want to see these leagues succeed, because if there is no MLS league for people to bet on, what are they going to bet on? They'll have less to bet on. They'll lose their product. So these betting companies have a vested interest in working with them. And so MLS approaches them with a deal and say, hey, we're kind of struggling for subscribers. Do you think we could give you a deal where you could try and run a little promotion for us and just give away these codes? And they're like, yeah, sure.
I wonder.
It had to be. It's not DraftKings. DraftKings.
I mean, if
DraftKings doesn't need MLS as much as MLS needs DraftKings. That's what happened in that deal.
I mean, yeah.
Like DraftKings does value MLS as a partnership, but if they go away, USL will be there. But at the same, I just, God, this is gonna be a throwback. But you sound like a regular old Ted Westerfeld or whatever his name was. Please no.
Oh no, no! In all
man.
seriousness, no, I don't. Yeah. I feel like listen. Everything the USL is doing is exciting. They have a higher hill to climb than I think people are giving it credit for.
Yes. I mean, this is promotion and relegation being brought to you by people who know nothing about promotion and relegation. That's the biggest thing. Like, you have all these guys who just don't know what they're trying to bring you, but they know that what they want.
Like, does USL have money
idea.
for parachute payments?
That's the question, right? They have to figure out all these nuances. They have to figure, but the fact is they've committed to moving forward with that idea, and I hope that they can figure out some good proposals and some good movements. And I wonder at what point does MLS think that they're potentially getting left behind, because this thing's happening. It's working that way, and I gotta say I'm excited about the product. I watched the USL get the game this weekend along with an MLS game, and I gotta say I really enjoyed both. I did enjoy both.
I enjoyed both.
I mean, the Fire didn't do so well, but I still, I've been so happy with what I've been seeing from Greg and this team, that, you know, the disappointments are a little easy to write off right now. Like, I remember game one, ready to jump off a cliff. You're like, it's done. And I'm like, cool your jets. I think this could be let's just get some
No,
results
now we're
here.
a good team. I don't even mind that we lost.
So now
look
at it. Look at the flip.
I feel okay about the loss. Like we should have done a little bit better, but like
whiplash.
But
Should have.
We have like an injury apocalypse happening. You know what I mean? Like, so it's hard to get too worked up about that loss. We were in New Jersey. We were on the road. We scored and it gave you a lot of hope. And Jonathan Bamba scoring his first goal, do not discount how big of a deal that is.
I was happy for him to get off the schneid. It was I was watching that happen, and I was like, yes, all right, good for Bamba to get that off, and now he can get back to doing just cooking. Bamba just cooks. Didn't work this last game. I mean, I got to be honest. New York Red Bulls showed up. They were second place last year, and they're looking a lot better than the LA Galaxy, who are just getting trounced right now. Woof.
Oh, you're not wrong about that.
Choupo-Moting? That guy's 6 foot huge. That's a hell of a freaking pickup.
Oh, I mean, listen, that was not a bad game. I felt like the Sam Rogers thing, like, oh God, can you blame Omar Gonzales? I don't know. He didn't do well, but like he's coming into a game because we had to risk it with Sam Rogers.
He was injured too. So I think that's the problem with Sam. Sam was a little dinged up going into that.
Heading into the game.
And they tried to ride him out as long as they could, and then in comes Omar. And I thought Omar, not that he did well, but he's working his way up to speed. And
it would have been nice to give him a full game to warm up, but I understand Greg really pushed it because the prospect of Tehran after not playing for like 4 weeks and Omar Gonzales starting a game, I get it.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's so rough. And Sam Rogers has at least played, so like that's the thinking there. And he's been relying on Mr. Rogers here quite a bit, actually.
Ever since that first game when he just shit the bed, he's been pretty decent.
For me,
Amari Glasgow.
Glasgow
had a. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
For me, the defense is the biggest question mark about this entire team. Is this center back situation? They need to bring in center back help.
I mean, they need another outside back. Look, Reynolds had to play. You know what I mean? Like they need more help in the defense. You're right.
But they're bringing in Jay Avila, who is a midfielder.
Well, we just said last week they needed help in the midfield.
They needed a little help in the midfield, but I still do think. Oh, that's great.
I'll say this: they need They need the help in the defense, despite the injuries. We needed a midfielder because of injuries. But like, did we pay $5 million for this kid? Is he a DP? I don't understand. Like, Joe, who was that? Was that Joe Chats? Or what? Who was that tweeted that?
The Jay Davila?
Yeah. Oh, Alex Calabrese. I don't understand what that means.
Campbell.
A $5 million.
Oh, Alex Calabrese.
No. A $5 million swap. What does that mean? Am I dumb? Does that mean, did we pay $5 million? Is he a TAM player? Is he a DP? Where am I going in life? I'm having existential crisis. No, I'm just not sure. But hopefully this kid comes good.
Barroso did, so that's been great.
Yeah, well, you are not wrong. Barroso definitely came in good, but he's been hurt so much. Oh my God! Oh, at least there won't be overtime. Thank God for that.
Not at this moment.
Can they see this, Jaymes? Okay.
Yeah, they can.
Okay, so we've been watching this game intently because 2 years ago, Jaymes and I went to the Miami game. Last year, I went to the Miami game, and no Lionel Messi. None. Zero. No Messi. This year, I saw Messi play last weekend, and I'm like, sweet. No red card, no injuries, no limping. Of course he's coming to Chicago. And now, of course, there's a Champions League game tonight, and he's playing. And it looked like it was going into overtime, but apparently, Messi with his second goal of the game has put them ahead to where, thank God, he doesn't have to run anymore. Oh my God, Aaron Long scored.
By the way, Messi is still playing. It's the what is it? It's the 86th minute. Messi is still in with Suarez. So
he got a PK. Hopefully, it was not as disgusting as Kellen Acosta's PK give up. Oh, that's the scary one, man. Acosta has not been playing well.
Do you think it's because of injury?
You know, you would think that, but he really seemed shaky the first couple games. But then again, he got hurt on a non-contact play, so maybe he was already struggling a bit. I don't know, man. It just whatever hex or voodoo is on that new training ground. Can we please get that thing exorcised? Can we get an exorcism out there?
Oh shit, maybe they need to play in a new place.
They just built that place.
Gosh, I know.
How did you build a brand new building and it's already haunted?
It's true. Well, only the Chicago Fire.
Oh man. Anyway,
speaking of no laughing matter, I'm going to make this next segment as quick and painless as I possibly can. As we know, tariffs have impacted the entire U.S., us here, people watching this probably. And the question is, how will tariffs impact soccer? And apparently it has already affected in a few ways. Trump has halted the tariffs that threaten sports apparel industry. That happened today, but the sports apparel
until about 7 minutes from now, and then it'll change. And then in about 2 hours from then, it'll change. And then he'll forget what the fuck sports apparel even is and start talking about something. I don't know.
No, but we'll keep on point here, but I agree with you that there is this topsy-turvy turbulence to this entire tariff moment where we're looking at like, oh, what's it going to cost? Is it going to cost the Chicago Fire more money to bring in another player from Europe or from China or from what have you, wherever? Well, of course, that is not the case. That is not the case whatsoever. Tariffs do not apply to players, to employees. It does apply to goods in the traditional sense, but soccer players are not that. Just something to note.
Yes, believe your eyes. James did ask AI, are people things? And is slavery still legal? Are people
things that can be sold?
And they was like, no.
No, but here's the thing: you in a transfer fee, you are paying to secure the services of a certain player, right?
You're buying a contract. You're not buying a person,
and you're buying that from another country. So, would tariffs come into play if you were buying a player's services from another country? That, of course, was the question I was trying to answer, and it doesn't seem like that is going to be the case. No, there is no cost extra on that part. Maybe there's other tariffs effects. Like I actually was watching that Everton might have some effects from Trump having tariffs. And I also wonder about some of these American owners of English Premiership teams. And I wonder if tariffs could affect them or how they could affect the team and their ability to spend, bring in talent. It's just an interesting thing I was just wondering about. And you can certainly put in the comments below if you think you know better. But we weren't trying to say anything.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought the strongest currency on the planet would be Gam and Tam?
Choke. Just mic drop after that.
The new global currency.
Just mic drop after that. Oh my God. Who knew that MLS Gam and Tam would turn out to be? That's freaking hilarious. This was interesting from Sportico. Sports owners just saying that they should pressure the government on these tariffs because of the way it could affect. I mean, just not the sports apparel, but I mean, just think about the equipment. The equipment for some of these things, for some of these players are coming from.
James.
Yeah.
No, I don't care.
Oh!
I won't think of it.
All right, you know, that
not
was
my fucking problem.
All right, so you know that I think that sounds like we've had enough of that, and we'll move on to something bigger and greater. Chicago flag. We'll uplift this all. The beloved Chicago flag and the meaning behind it. The north side at the top, the south side at the bottom, the west side in between, uniting us all. Oh, Naperville.
I claim West Side. That's what I'm claiming.
Would West Side be? Give us some West Side areas. Would that be Logan Square? Is Logan Square North Side or West Side?
I would call Logan Square West Side. I would call Humboldt Park West Side. I would call Bucktown Wicker Park West Side. I would say, yeah, I would consider all of that West, and I wouldn't call that North Side.
South Side, that's like what is that? Bronzeville. Is the Loop South Side?
I mean, there's a galaxy on the South Side, man. My ex-wife grew up in Calumet Park, and yeah, there is a galaxy of different neighborhoods. Are
you throwing Wolf Lake into that galaxy?
I don't even know where Wolf Lake is. Am I
you
dumb?
don't know where Wolf Lake is?
Am I dumb? Did I miss something? Where is it?
I'll pull up a Chicago.
Is it by the Cal-Sac? No.
I mean, you might not be far off, but
excuse me, pardon me. I'm gotta be a tourist in my own land. No, that is far too close to Indiana for me, my man. I've driven by it on the highway.
Yeah, you've definitely driven by Wolf Lake on the highway. That's that.
Yeah,
that's that weird
now
lake,
I know.
That weird lake that appears out of nowhere when you're driving out of Illinois.
I literally know exactly what you're talking about now. All right, I was unfamiliar with their game. Well, like there's a forest preserve. So yeah, gotta go camping this year at Bullfrog Lake at some point. Anyway,
Bullfrog Lake, where's
I digress. That? Oh, it's I just good idea. Move on.
All right, we'll move on. I think we're hitting the end of the wall here, unless you got anything else to bring up.
We're getting close. So wait, Miami is winning this game. I want to go back to this.
All right, I'll bring it back up.
Miami is winning this game. This is the quarterfinal. Who else is in the Champions League quarterfinal for the Concacaf Champions Cup?
Well, actually, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked, because that is the very last thing I had to bring up. Boop, 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 boop. And here it is. The quarterfinal, leg 2 of 2, and similar to the Champions League, you got the Concacaf Champions League because they're trying to compete, right? And if MLS wants to be the best league in the world, they got to do special things, right? And are these special things? I don't know. But Tigres beat LA Galaxy yesterday. I talked about that earlier a little bit, just talking about the idea that the Galaxy have been sucking. And to me, MLS has not been good enough. And also...
Am I crazy? I heard Cruz Azul was kind of having an off year this year, unless that was like the Aperture and we're in the Clausura. Sorry. Anyway, I digress.
I'll pull up Liga MX here in just a second, because that is a good question. Cruz Azul though beats Club America. That's incredible. I mean, I don't think anybody really expected that, unless I don't know who would really expect that. I'll go to Liga MX and see their what's going on there.
I don't know if it's because it's more of the bench players, but I've watched Liga MX games.
Well, there
before,
you have it. I mean, Cruz Azul's studly team.
Okay, so I was incorrect about their game as well.
Yeah, I was too. Like, Club America is probably the best. We were unaware of their game.
Yeah, no.
Do you see what I'm seeing here, Toe?
Well, scroll down. It was Club America.
This is the Apertura.
Finished 8th.
Cruz Azul in first, Club America in 8th.
Okay.
Like,
that's what it was.
Holy cow. Right. And now in the Clausura, Club America, yes, doing better than Cruz Azul, but Cruz Azul had a hell of an Apertura.
Yeah, they did.
That's incredible.
Well, that's probably why they're there. Like I was saying, I'll tell you what, I've seen Liga MX games. I've seen CONCACAF Champions League games between Liga MX teams. And it's a different vibe. It's kind of different. It's not the same. It's kind of like when you see MLS teams play in the tournament. It's not the same. It's a little bit different.
Over here, so Inter Miami is going to go through. Tigres goes through. Cruz Azul goes through. And the last game will be Vancouver versus Pumas. How crazy is it that we're looking at Vancouver? And by the way, Vancouver's been cooking on all cylinders.
They have been, but that's a tall task to go into Mexico and win a game like that.
They're already up 1-1, and it's going to be, let's find out what it's going to be.
Puma's got the away goal.
It's at Estadio Olimpico Universitario.
Yeah.
Wait
So
a second.
Pumas has an away.
That's
has the away goal.
today. It's tonight. You will have the results in the morning.
Oh my God! Yeah, we're finally recording early.
That's gonna be exciting.
So who do you got? Who do you got?
I got Pumas. I watched
Yeah.
the game at. I watched so much soccer over the weekend, and I saw. It was actually the Liga. It was the LA Galaxy versus Tigres, and I honestly at some point felt. I don't know how much I want to talk about this. So I'll keep our screen small, but I honestly felt like there was no way that LA Galaxy was going to be allowed to win that game.
So they got Concacaf, is what you're saying.
I was just seeing some weird stuff go on from the referee, and maybe the referee is also afraid or concerned about the implications.
Well, I mean,
so it was just like it just seemed very odd. The calls I was seeing, the decisions that were being broadcasted, I was like, these don't make sense. And it eventually led to me to a place to be like, wow, LA Galaxy would have been better off just forfeiting because they were never going to win this game. If they played it in LA, maybe there'd be a fair result. I don't think that there was a fair result in that game, and we don't need to clip
those
that.
are heavy allegations. Let's get Jack Warner involved. No, seriously speaking though, there's no secret that CONCACAF can get nutty, and sometimes no matter what country you're in, and even in America, like sometimes you're playing against the team and the refs, man, and it sucks.
Sometimes you're fighting against the C word, cancer.
Oh,
I threw the loop there.
I was like fighting against.
No. Oh, okay.
I'm gonna bleep that anyway.
Bleep it so they bleep both of them. The mystery.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just complete misdirect. Yeah. Pumas has got this. Okay. Does Miami win this tournament? Because we're down to. What would we be down to? 3 Mexican teams, and Inter Miami. So.
I'm having trouble pulling it up for you right now.
That would be it. You would have Inter Miami and then 3 Mexican teams, or Liga MX teams.
No. There's because Vancouver could win.
Okay, could, but we're saying Pumas is gonna.
I think Pumas.
So now my question to you is:
I think Pumas is gonna win in this game because I fear the same thing that happened to what I saw happen to LA Galaxy, which it's not that LA Galaxy were the better team or Tigres were the worst team or that, but there was decisions made that were just very questionable, and it's almost like they don't want to look into them, but maybe call up the higher ups for that. There's some wild stuff.
I'm going to live in reality where Pumas is going to win this game. And I think
that is the reality.
I think Miami has a chance to win this tournament, but I don't necessarily know if they will. I mean, if they get KDB in like a month.
So the funny thing about Inter Miami is Inter Miami has Messi. So in my conspiracy theory world,
he's gonna get the calls.
In my conspiracy theory world, it's not that he's gonna get the calls, it's that they won't fuck with Messi as much as they're willing to fuck with other MLS teams. And so that's my read of the conspiracy that I'm injecting here. You do not need to clip this.
No, this is now our pinned. This is our pinned conversation. Anyway, We're just
You want me to
Oh
spell it
my
out
God.
for you?
just oh man.
There's some nefarious things.
Who was the other guy? There was Jack Warner, and then who was the other guy? The really corrupt CONCACAF guy.
Corrupt.
Oh man.
Yes.
Oh, now
corruption.
I forget. Never mind. The joke is dead now. Anyway, so we've been talking a lot about Miami.
Yep.
Last thing
Yes,
before
we
we
have.
leave. Last thing before we leave.
This has been too much fun. This has
What-
been too
what-
much fun. It's over.
Let's predict this Fire game against Miami. They're gonna show up on Sunday, and
Wait a second.
oh
Oh my God. This is the best they could do. They put but you know what? There's a reason they did this.
dude, these billboards have been out for a month. Like
Who-
we had the
which
Montreal game coming up.
Which player would you prefer it was going against Messi? Would you rather hometown hero Gutierrez from Burbank, Illinois be the player that's showing up there? Would you rather be Bamba? Would you rather be Zink? Would you rather be Kuipers? Would you rather be Brady? What player
Well, I
would
feel
you
like I've
rather
seen-
have up there other than Gutierrez? So we'll take Gutierrez out of the equation. Other than Gutierrez, who would you rather see up there?
Who like?
Let us know in the
I
comments
think-
below who you want.
I'll put it this way, man. I don't think anybody else is truly marketable yet. So you would be starting to try and push them to be marketable. So if that's the case, I would say Kuipers. But I feel like I've seen Kuipers on the billboard.
Yeah.
But I definitely have seen Kellen Acosta
Mm-hmm.
on the billboards. So there are billboards with Acosta instead of Gutierrez out there.
I like the Guti pick. I do, because obviously it's the hometown hero. I like the Kellen Acosta shout. Kuipers, you know what's funny? Because
He's gonna win the Golden Boot, man.
I have this question for you. If Shaqiri was still here, would he have gotten it?
Well, if Shaqiri was still here, does Bamba come? Does Kuipers come? I guess Kuipers was here, right?
Kuipers was here.
So, I mean, yes, because Shaqiri was still the biggest name, and you don't have a prominent Mexican or Polish player on the team.
So, after Shaq has left, after Shaqiri has left, are we now saying that Gutierrez is now our most marketable star? However, keep in mind, this Gutierrez has popped up in the occasional MLS Team of the Week. He's had a couple special moments, and literally hometown kid.
Well, I mean, the idea is that Gutierrez is starting and scoring goals and looking rad for the U.S. team in 2030.
Oh,
Right? So, this is more, he's marketable because the sky is the limit for him still. You know what I mean? And so I think that's where they're putting their chips in. I think it's smart. But again,
yeah,
I would start pushing Kuipers. I really think Kuipers seems to be a decent dude. He didn't care. He did that weird, the little video not caring that he could be clipped into memes. You know what I mean? I think he's a good personality to start pushing.
You're saying he's more marketable at the moment, maybe?
No, I'm saying.
But he scores the
saying
goals.
No one's truly marketable yet. So you have to pick a horse and push it. And so I think they thought it was going to be Acosta, but with his injuries this season, I think they're pulling back from that a bit because he was supposed to be the veteran captain presence, right?
Right.
But
who is the
I
captain
think
on this team?
it's usually Acosta.
Okay.
But when Acosta wasn't, God, it wasn't Jack Elliott, was it? Good God. I don't even remember who. Oh, it was Kuipers wore it one game.
That's my point.
I
I don't think it's been kind of set.
No, it's been Kuipers because I saw him yelling at the ref.
That's funny. That's exactly who you want yelling at the ref.
Yeah,
Your
and honestly, I don't remember ever hearing Kuipers talk, and I haven't sought it out, so I don't know if maybe his English isn't strong, but I would really start, the digital team that we have in Chicago is really good. So I would love to see them start doing Ferris Bueller Day Off type of videos with these guys. Let's push Kuipers. Let's get him to be a big personality in Chicago.
He seems funny, especially after what you were just talking about.
Yeah, I mean,
I wish I could show it.
I don't know where like you'd have to find it again.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's so I'm gonna say this out loud. We're having a good season. I think we're going to continue to have a good season, but I think we're gonna lose this game. It's just we have so many injuries, and Busquets is gonna tear up the midfield.
Speaking of tearing up the midfield, I think Liga MX is tearing up MLS's midfield. I think it's gotten to a little bit of the point where, I mean, MLS has been behind Liga MX since always. And at one point we were like, oh, we finally passed them. And no, we did not. We didn't.
Oh, we just won a tournament.
We didn't. We're still behind.
And it's
what
still
needs
the
to
bench.
change?
It's still the bench. If this was FIFA and fatigue was turned off and you went top 11 versus top 11, MLS, they're way closer in quality. But as soon as you add 12 through 25,
yes,
the Liga MX team is way better.
They're deeper.
Much deeper.
And they're able to pay, and they're keeping a lot of Mexican stars from going abroad too.
To the detriment of the Mexican national team, they be saying
apparently, but also that's why they have these really good clubs that are beating these MLS squads, and it's getting me to the point where I'm like, USL is knocking on the door. MLS is just they're asleep at the wheel, it seems, and MLS needs to do something big. I don't know what, but MLS needs to do something big. For me, it's join up with USL, figure out the promotion relegation, but you got to believe that there's going to be not a single owner that has paid $500 million to buy into MLS. Nobody wants to for that.
Listen, you give them 10 years. You say you bought in for $500 million to be in the top division for the first 10 years. After 10 years, we're going to take stock of those 10 years and the bottom 3 teams get relegated, or even the bottom 2 in the East and the West.
After 1 year, after this year. That's when
after 10 years.
That's when we would start it. You have to start stipulated period.
Then it would be every year.
Yep. So it'd be like, this is the year we start it, and if you were at the bottom, you're going down.
Correct. Give them time to recoup the investment, and then you've recouped the investment. Now it's time. But the problem is MLS owns the teams. You're going to have to break that up.
They're franchises. They're not clubs, right? And you also mentioned the idea of parachute payments earlier in the podcast, and it was that they have to figure out all these subtle nuances that make all sorts of that even the Premier League and the Championship really still haven't even figured out all that great either, because they have problems all the time for certain clubs. Yes, they have parachute, but like to go from spending $20 million, $30 million on your club to $120 million and to go back down to $30 million, that's a big squeeze.
Oh yeah. No, that's why you see the Fulham and the Norwich special, the up and down and up and down and up and down. And it's just, there's a lot of challenges. Yes, I want Pro Rel, but there are a lot of challenges to it. And let us not kid ourselves. The only way Pro Rel really changes the landscape of the first division is if Chicago and New York and LA get like a second, third, fourth, and fifth team. So let's not pretend like Tulsa is ever going to get out of the second division. Let's not pretend that Kansas City will ever get back to the first division. Like, let's not pretend the big cities are going to be the ones in the first division repeatedly. So it's not the landscape is not going to change very much here in America until it gets big enough that you start seeing 4 teams in the city limits of Chicago. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, like, it's funny you say that, because, I mean, like, if you go back to the old EPL standings before the Premier League took over in its very first year, Leeds United used to be
92 or whatever.
Yeah, Leeds United used to be a Studley team. They fell off for years. For years, Leeds United fell off. Now they're
Yeah,
finally.
well, and now they're a yo-yo team.
Yeah, and now they're and that's actually my question for you before we end this podcast. And you guys, I greatly appreciate you guys kicking that like button, staying around for our conversation here of Talking Soccer here on Enemies of the Fire, and to help us hit our goal of 500 subscribers. But that's my question to you, Toke, and to you, the viewer. Is this idea of, hold on, I lost it. Where did I wrote it down. Thank fucking goodness. I wrote it down. I was smart enough to write it down. And you were just talking about these waffling teams. How challenging would it be to be a fan of those waffling teams? So like, here we are thinking, promotion relegation. Oh, it solves all of our woes as fans. But what if you're supporting a team that fucking sucks? Or worse, that isn't great. That just goes between goodness and greatness all the time. And you get your hopes up. We're going up. We're up. Oh, we're going back. We're going down. And then we're going back up. Like, how could that take a toll?
Well, that's where after decades of this, let's not pretend the rest of the world didn't have 100-year head start, right? So after decades of this, that's where you get those moments like a Nottingham Forest fan, until maybe this year, could eat all year off that one game that they beat Man United. Or that, like, oh, remember that one season when we had that stretch where we won those 3 games? Like, we may never finish below, above 12th or below 15th, but like, you get these special moments because like I will admit the EPL, when you watch it on a Saturday, feels a little bit more like an NFL Sunday than an MLS Saturday does.
100%.
It does.
1000% does. And how does it do that? Is it because of the atmosphere? Is it because of all the fans that are in the stadium? Even though there's games where there's sometimes not a lot of fans in the stadium.
Those stadiums are just smaller. They're just smaller, right? I'm on record. I feel like if the Fire were good, we'd fill that 60,000 seat arena or stadium. I feel like building a 25,000 person stadium is the biggest waste of money and time ever, because that's already around what we get. There's no growth. That's just keeping the current Fire the way it is. Anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
turn that
back to the Fire. But
it's fine.
I don't know. There are so many challenges to Pro Rel. That's why I say, like, the only way to do it right, you can't be like, we're going to do it this year. Yeah. You got to be like, okay,
steps.
We got 10 years to figure out all the minutia. So just keep winning games. And as long as you're not the worst the worst 2 teams in the East and the West, I don't know.
They need to be aggressive. I think USL needs to be aggressive, and they've already got a lot of people peaked. Their interests are peaked. I'd love to be able to support a club that goes up and down as part of this system. And if Chicago Fire want to be a part of that, I think that they got to figure that out sooner than later, because
listen,
I'm a Chicago Fire fan. I am, but at the same time, I'm looking at these USL teams like I might have to find a team, and right now Indy 11 is just the closest. But maybe like there's a Yankees.
I would go with Forward Madison. Over
sometimes
Indy 11.
Sometimes fans gravitate towards the Yankees. Sometimes they gravitate towards the Dodgers. Like those great teams. Where's the great team of USL? I'm curious.
All the teams that were any good in USL for a lot of years got gobbled up. The entire Pacific Northwest was in USL.
That's true.
Brian Schmetzer, USL coaching legend.
Wow.
All right. Upon the mention of Brian Schmetzer, I think it's time to wrap things up. Everybody, if you made it this far, we love you. DPG, we love you. Hopefully you made it this far. And Jaymes, what should they do to help the channel? What could they do to help?
Take that like button, hit that subscribe button, help us hit our goal of 500 subscribers this season. And here at Enemies of Fire, we thank you. We greatly appreciate you guys punching your ticket. We'll catch you guys on the next ride. We're here every week. We usually put out content on Thursdays, and we'll see you guys then. All right? Pull that ripcord. Let's pull the parachute, because we're going down. Would Chicago Fire be going down?
They would have.
They would have years ago, but thank goodness now we're good. If we bring in Pro Rel, at least Chicago Fire will be good, and we wouldn't have to worry about it. Kansas City, they might have to worry about
it. Kansas City's long-suffering nightmare is on its way.
Oh, more pain and suffering. You thought you were free of Peter Vermees and the pain and suffering of that, but more is in store for Kansas City galore. All right, we'll catch you guys next time here on Into the Fire. Make sure you punch it. We'll catch you guys next time. Later. Comment.
That was good.